Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to BRODOWN. This is the new show where we're going to be doing spoiler reviews, spoiler heavy review for Halloween Kills today. Very excited to be here to talk about this with two very awesome gentlemen today. Mr. Jose Espinel, as you know. How's it going, Jose?
Doing pretty good, ready to talk some spoilers about Halloween Kills.
Hell yeah, man. And Josh, how's it going? Nice to have you, Josh. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's going good. I'm just a little worried because I haven't seen Halloween Kills.
Oh.
So I don't know how I can review it.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about Halloween Bill. Did you see that one?
No, I don't really like movies that much.
Okay, good.
It was Halloween Fills. That was the one.
Oh, Halloween Fills. All right. Yeah. Well,
I'll try my best, but I haven't seen it, but I'll just try to kind of chime in here and there.
Well, we'll do our best here today, folks, as I wear the shirt that Josh bought me a long time ago to meet a girl in Target with. But, this will be a fun day, and it's going to be exciting. I can't wait. It's going to be a good one. And, listen, I love this movie. I think Jose loved this movie. I think Josh, 100%. I think Josh loved this movie.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan.
Yeah, I honestly, I was going to try to get three different perspectives on here, but I don't think I could actually find anybody in my circle of friends that disliked this movie. I mean, I'm being serious. So it was really hard to do. So
yeah, not my circle of friends, but I'm finding a lot of people are kind of crapping on this movie for different things.
Yeah. Outside
Dom and I, we went through a lot of reviews about this movie, and not many of them were good, so
it's just like, my question is, have they watched the other sequels like Resurrection?
Yeah. And I agree. Yeah, I was kind of agreeing with that too, Josh, because this to me is a massive improvement amongst a lot of the non-canonical sequels. For me, like, the thing that I really like about this movie is, well, number one, I mean, Michael Myers, again, I think it's consistent with the 2018 in a lot of ways, but it also expands on him too at the same time, in the sense that, we're kind of starting to find out more about how he works, and he's still kind of, they're keeping him in this realm of terrifying, like the original John Carpenter one in 1978, in my opinion, and I really enjoy that. Yes, sure, a lot of these, side characters haven't been, the most compelling, but were they in the John Carpenter one? No. And that's what I think that they're trying to stay consistent with. That's my opinion on that.
Well, what I really like about it is that they don't actually explain Michael. You're just getting people's theories. Like, yeah. Laurie has a theory on him. Hawkins has a theory on him, but you're not getting like a concrete answer, and that's what I really enjoy. Because
exactly,
the suspense. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's making him more like an urban legend.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, they're keeping it incredibly ambiguous, and it's
like it should be, because Michael Myers is kind of, he honestly is like a myth.
Well, it's the shape, it's the shape, exactly. And that's the way that I was watching that thing today on the movies that made us. Have you guys watched that, by the way? Because that was really good, that episode that they did on the original Halloween.
But I haven't seen all of it.
Okay. Because, they were talking about, that's how Carpenter wrote him on the page, the shape, There was always kind of this ambiguity in the original to Michael that I think somewhere in translation got lost in the non-canonical sequels. And to me, this kind of brought it back, at least, or it's keeping it that way, the way it was in 2018 one. And again, like Josh was saying, this, a lot of the characters they're kind of just, they're there to serve the purpose of, to bring up different theories and to try to figure it out. But like he said, they're only theories, and it's still ambiguous as ambiguous as ever. One of the complaints I'm hearing about this movie is like, okay, well, they brought back the mob storyline, so it's not really original, because they did that kind of in Halloween 4. In my opinion, it still very much is, though, because they might have brought it back here, but it's executed better than it was in Halloween 4. I'm not calling like Halloween 4 the worst thing in the world, because I have a soft spot for that movie due to nostalgia, but come on, I mean, let's be real. I mean, it was executed much better here than it ever has been.
they did in this one was the most John Carpenter, because it was almost like a social commentary about how people find escape go and mass hysteria. That felt like something Carpenter would have done later in his career.
I agree. And, I think, not to get political, but I mean, people are forgetting how that's relevant to today, that message of it. And, I think that to me, the thing that people are forgetting, and you're right, Josh, is that Carpenter would have put social commentary in his movies. And David Gordon Green clearly wants to. And this is the other thing I liked about it, by the way, because this movie still stays in the realm of, wanting to be very Carpenter-esque, but it also allowed David Gordon Green to, like, really throw his own original spin into it this time around. I feel like more than the 2018, because in 2018, I felt like he was just trying to go as comfortable as possible so the audience can kind of get sucked in. This time around, he was like, okay, now I really want to play around because it's the middle chapter. I have a little bit more room to do that, but I'm also going to keep to the, ideas of Carpenter and the 78 and what I did in 2018. It's a very consistent continuation. I think people are missing that. Like, on one end, I'll say this. It didn't go the direction I thought it would go, but I don't mind that. I don't know. I mean, to me, like, the fact that it did veer off into a different direction where I thought it would go, I should say, who cares? It's cool. I want to be surprised. And a lot of things in this movie did surprise me. It really did, even though, like, based on the trailers, I mean, we knew they were going to kind of do the, people were going to team up and try to find Michael. There's still a lot of things that happen within that you don't expect. Number one being, we could dive into this. And the other thing I'm getting very upset about is the fact that people say it doesn't develop the story or push the story forward at all. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because you go right into that flashback in the beginning. That's a whole new development on the whole story. That flashback in the beginning is awesome, and it really adds new information that I think we didn't have before, connects it back into the original. Did you guys have what were your thoughts on that? Actually, I'll start with Josh because I wanted to hear his thoughts when that came up.
Well, it actually cleared up one of my biggest gripes about Halloween 40 years later, 2018, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Is because I love the end of the original Carpenter film where you see all the different angles of the house and you're like, oh, where could he be at? Like, he gets out the window. And it always sounded like he just passed out in the front yard and the police arrested him after getting shot. I always thought that was just kind of lame. So this, like, you open up with 1978, you get the new version of Myers house theme from the original movie that's redone with Cody now, his son.
Yeah.
And then that was fantastic. And my biggest praise was, I thought it's going to be my biggest nitpick, is because these movies have been pretty graphic compared to the original Halloween, which there is hardly any blood, none at all, really. And I was like, okay, they're going to have to do like a really brutal kill, and it's not going to feel like it would have happened in the 78 movie. Here, they got shot in the neck, blood came out, but it wasn't too graphic. They still toned it down a bit compared to the rest of the film, and I really like that nod. Yeah.
The other thing I noticed in that flashback too that really, by the way, I agree with you, Josh, because that was my thought as well when it came down to the way that they kind of, because in 2018, you're right, it did kind of take something away from the original ending, you know what I mean? And this kind of, it filled the gap and it gave us like a cool continuation in a way that happened right after that first one ended. So I agree, man, that was really amazing to see. And the other thing, I liked about this, it was something I noticed that I threw so much respect at this movie for, is the part in the 78 version when Loomis is standing by the window and the thing comes down and breaks the window. They kept that in there like perfectly, like they redesigned that thing perfectly. Like that could have been like something that was easy for them to forget about, like when redesigning that set, and they kept that little beam that came down and hit the window right there, and I thought that was amazing. Jose, I mean, that flashback moment, you were a fan of that as well, right?
Of course, 100%. Like you guys said, it cleared up a lot about from 78 with Myers, and like Josh said, the whole there was still blood, but it wasn't as graphic as 2018 and kills, to kind of keep it a similar gore as the original Halloween was really cool. I enjoy that a lot, because if it probably maybe too much gore and blood, it probably wouldn't have been as good as it was in that flashback. And Yeah, no, honestly, like I was very curious as to what actually happened to Myers, and just seeing that in the flashback, I appreciated that a lot.
Yeah.
So
You know what I think happened with this movie in general, and I think because I think based on the trailers, because they were kind of playing into Michael and the granddaughter a lot in the trailers of this movie, and I think what happened is a lot of people came up with this theory that they were going to try to connect back into the relation thing. Michael was going to be related to the granddaughter, and I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought of it too, but I like it so much better that they didn't play into it, because now it is really staying consistent, and they really are sticking to their word of we're not going to do the brother sister thing. But I think that's exactly what's making a lot of people upset, is the fact that they had this expectation that was bullshit, didn't come to be. But I'm loving the dynamic still. Like, I think that the granddaughter, we talked about her on the show too earlier, Jose, Andy Batichuk, I think is the actress's
yeah,
name. Like, she does a really good job playing her.
Allison, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she was incredible in this film. Honestly, she's got a bright future ahead of her, and I can't wait to see what she does in the next movie, Halloween Ends. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and just keeping it running on the cast. I mean, Anthony Michael Hall surprised me. I think he's actually a big highlight in this movie, and not a lot of people are really calling him out on that. Being such a bright spot in here, and how great of a job he did. I mean, every moment of this, I kept questioning like that was the dweeb in Breakfast Club, because he really did a phenomenal job, and like honestly, I think if he wasn't okay, like the mob aspect, I probably would have complained more if Anthony Michael Hall wasn't leading that whole storyline, because
True.
he sold it. He sold it for me, and I thought it worked out so well. And the way that they did it was very narrative. And this is something I was having a conversation with. Actually, my mother watched it, and she brought this up to me, and had told me like maybe people need to be from a small town to understand the dynamic at play here, because everybody knows each other already right from the get-go, and that's how they get the mob together. To some people that might play a little bit cheesy. To me, I was like, I get that,
Yeah,
like
'cause I was gonna say I get that too, because at least in Texas, the city I lived in, it was super small. Not many people lived there. Probably a couple, maybe like a couple thousand, if even that. The other place only had like two traffic lights and like a couple shops, so like, everyone knew everyone there. So I understand the whole aspect of everyone knowing each other, knowing what's going on, and teaming up, to go against Michael Myers here.
yeah.
So I appreciated that a lot. It was
Yeah, me
cool.
too. Josh,
Yeah.
you like the mob thing too, though? I mean, like as far as like Anthony Michael Hall kind of leading it and all that, right?
Yeah, no, the whole mob section was great, and actually, I'm kind of because I don't think I was ever on here about Halloween 2018, but I
I
always
don't think so.
hated the plot twist with the doctor at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that, and I think some of the best things in that movie is drive me nuts that no one ever called that out for being stupid. But now that like the mob mentality thing that people hate for some reason would happen. I mean, I was watching the Night Stalker documentary. It was a small neighborhood that captured Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
They all piled up in his car, or piled around his car and pulled him out. Like that's what happens.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is the boogeyman. Everyone's afraid of the boogeyman. When people are afraid, it's fight or flight, and all these people they fought.
Yeah. And go ahead. Go ahead.
I was about to say is like, I mean, I'm jumping ahead here, but
Sure.
also,
Jump all around.
People are complaining about like, oh, they're going after that 4-foot guy who's clearly not Michael. I'm like, well, that's the point of the story. That's what I'm trying to teach you. Is everyone's so afraid they're just blindly attacking whatever fits fits their idea of what it is. And
Yeah.
also, no one knows what Michael looks like. He's been locked up for 40 years. Last time Tommy saw him was when he was 6.
Yeah.
It's just
True.
blind fear of causing them to attack an innocent man. That was the moral of the story.
Yeah. I agree. I'm with you on the moral of it, and like that's something I think that's going over a lot of people's heads too. Is definitely that this movie does have a moral, and it's a good moral on some level. But
because the thing is that he ended up realizing that wasn't actually Michael. I think towards the end of when they were chasing that guy, he like looked at him. He's like, then he looked back to Karen. He's like, no, that's not him.
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
because he.
What he's in denial because he says, "Well, that could be him. I've never seen him without the mask." So he's
Right.
in denial about it.
Right.
Because the lawyer's screaming at them that like that's not him, and then like they just ignore it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, agreed. And that's, that's how it would go, if you ask me. It would just be for them, out of sight, out of mind. They just, they want somebody to blame. That's the way I took it, is, they just want somebody to pin this on. They don't care if it's the actual Michael or not at that point. Finally, Anthony Michael Hall comes around on it. But it's that mob mentality that gets them kind of ruined at the end of the whole thing anyway, because you go into the very, very ending, which I loved, where it was not the end, but like right before the end with when Michael takes out everybody was awesome.
Which just goes off on everyone.
Awesome. And like, I don't know how people are not appreciating this, because I really don't want this whole thing to become about like calling out everybody who's hated this movie. But like, in all honesty, I'm really baffled by the lack of appreciation for, what this movie did. And the first movie, this is how I explain this to a lot of people, in my opinion, is the first film was Laurie's movie. This movie is Michael's movie. And so like, the first movie, Laurie had to overcome everything, and this one, Michael had to overcome everything.
Right.
And that's
get his window.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's true though, and this gave Michael an arc because of that. And
I love the window concept.
I agree because they set it up so well with the reflection concept. It just talking about it prior, and the whole, I love the hospital dynamic too, and that's another thing people complained about. They're like, well, they used the hospital in the non-canonical Halloween 2, which is a movie I still like, by the way. But
what's funny is they use footage from Halloween 2 as well.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's true.
When Brackett's looking at his daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did use that. That's right. They pulled that moment when they show Brackett in this movie, which is cool. So it's like, I don't know, it's like we're gonna keep some things canon as much as we can without pulling back in the concept of the brother sister thing. So that was actually really refreshing to see. And by the way, I love that Brackett is back in this movie, and I think that was really important, to have him, because it made a lot of sense. I think a lot of people, for some reason, even though his name was Frank, thought that Frank was Brackett in the first movie for some reason. I don't know. I never caught that, but like, it was good to have him here to clear that up, I think, for a lot of people who thought Frank was Brackett. But yeah, it's cool, man, because it's the other thing that not a lot of people are giving this credit on is like they're bringing these like old school characters back, but they're not doing it in a very fan servicey type of way. They're doing it very naturally, in my opinion. Like, I didn't like look at that and go fan service, you know what I mean? Like, Brackett's back, fan service. I mean, it is fan service, but it's not like played like fan service. Brackett's where he's at in this movie because it made sense for him to be there. That's why he's there. It doesn't feel like he's there to be forced in there. Tommy Doyle's where he's at in this movie because it made sense for him to be there. Lindsay Wallace is in this movie because it makes sense for her to be there. So I think that's getting kind of kicked under the rug a lot, is the fact that a lot of the stuff just made sense and fell into place the right way.
And another thing that people are kind of hating on too is how people are just saying how the kills aren't original anymore. They're just being like the same, but like if anything, in this movie the kills were incredible.
I would
very, very different.
I would disagree with that.
It has my favorite kill I've ever seen Michael do, which is putting the boyfriend's head for the head banister.
Yeah.
In the stairs, and it's up and
Oh.
down. That's
one that made me laugh was when he kicked the door and the girl shot herself in the
That was
throat.
awesome. That was a good one too.
That had me in the whole theater clapping because it was just insane.
Yeah, I think all three of us have a different favorite because
so that's one of my favorites.
Okay, because my favorite was the light bulb when he stuck the light bulb.
That was another one of my favorites too.
Yeah. Although I like all three of those.
Yeah. Because I like the staircase one too. That was, and then he just turns his neck at the end, just.
Yeah, no, that's my favorite I've seen Michael do.
Dude, that was gruesome.
Yeah, that was no, like it was very effective. It was one of the most effective ones, both narratively and
I was
just
gonna say because for Allison, that was like seeing Michael just kill her boyfriend right in front of her. It's like
yeah.
that did something to her.
But I would disagree when people say the kills are repetitive because
Because they're not.
I think each one was creative.
Exactly.
They David Gordon Green took the time and it seems like it and thought out every single kill in the movie.
When Michael put 5 knives through that black dude.
Oh, that was amazing.
That was
when that was just disturbing, but it was great. Like it add that extra layer of disturbing to Michael. Was great. Again, there are developments with Michael in this movie that people are just overlooking, and
they're just going like that. They're just over their head.
Really, it's like it's all character development. They're just missing it. They're mad because it wasn't extra character development for Laurie. That's why people are upset. They wanted the Laurie Strode story to continue, but that's just not how they're going. They're going with first one's Laurie's, this one's Michael's.
Right.
At least in my assessment of it, that's how.
No, you're 100% true. Yeah.
Yeah.
100% right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would think I would think that people would want something different, than the 2018 one. And if you want the Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers movie, we got 5 of them that you can watch. And that's the other thing that I love about this is it's not that, and they could have easily done that. They could have done that again.
I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. Probably.
I don't think I would have either.
Yeah,
I wanted something different, and a lot of this movie is different. It's a different story, and it brings back enough of the familiar again. I mean, another thing to talk about here is just the atmosphere. The atmosphere makes it because it's the fall time atmosphere. It captures it once again, and I there's a comfortability to watching this, because of it. There is a certain comfortability, while being uncomfortable enough that you get moments like, ooh, that's disturbing, ooh, that so that's what I like. It's mixed in perfectly together. The movie,
I guess another thing we could touch on is Little John, Big John.
Oh, we gotta get to them. Okay, so I will say this is the one thing, if somebody wanted to complain about this one, I kind of get it, only because they don't belong like they belong in the movie. I'll explain why. But it seems like they're playing in a whole different movie. It definitely does. I understand that. But for myself, the way I was thinking of it, if somebody's going to buy the Myers house, it's going to be guys like this. And it made sense to me, and it worked. I love these two. They were funny. Even Josh, I think, told me, right? Like you were saying, you liked it. You thought it was better comic relief than the kid in the 2018, right?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed them. They felt natural. Like they just felt like people who didn't care. Like they're doing their own thing.
Yeah,
doesn't matter to them. They're new to town, whatever, cheap house.
Yeah.
Is what honestly probably one of the funniest parts for me in that movie. Honestly, is the whole stuff with them is incredible,
hysterical.
It's hysterical.
And people don't think about it, but like if Michael Myers was going around killing people, he'd probably kill people in the middle of doing some pretty weird shit, And so to Josh's point of them feeling natural, well, yeah, because they're in the middle of doing a ton of weird shit, and Michael doesn't care what they're up to. He's just looking out. He's looking to kill,
Recreates her photo with her corpses.
Yes.
I was going to say that when Allison finds that was the funniest.
That was a good bit. That was a good bit.
Also, the whole Marco Polo that they were playing with each other. Little John, Big John.
Yeah. Does anybody know the kid that plays Cameron, by the way? Does anybody know his name in real life? Because I wanted to shout him out too, because that actor did really good stuff here. I thought he did a good job, because in the first movie he pisses you off, but in this time around, it's like he was really likable for the most part. Like
Dylan Arnold.
I found it to be incredibly likable in this movie.
Oh yeah, he was different in this movie, and I liked that a lot. I liked how they switched him up, and him and Allison kind of basically worked through their stuff pretty quickly. And their chemistry and dynamic was really good throughout this movie.
Absolutely. I mean, people know, I hope that they're watching the spoiler review having seen the movie. I mean, but if you haven't, I mean, Michael kills a lot of fucking people in this movie. Like,
oh my gosh, it's his biggest killing spree. Like, this dude kills half. He probably kills half the town.
Josh, you go ahead.
Oh, I think he's either 10 or 8 away from catching up to Jason.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
really? After this movie? Okay.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that specifically with the kill count. Is this the most amount of kills he's done in one movie that you know of?
Oh yeah, I'm like 100% certain because in the beginning he kills 11 firefighters.
Oh yeah,
That's
he kills. Yeah, I was
true.
gonna say he kills like 8, 10 firefighters. Like
Yeah, and then in the mob scene, he's killing however many people there. So yeah, for sure. I guess
that,
it
that
would
was
be.
that was at least like 30 people in that mob, probably.
Yeah, I can't think of any other movie when he's gone on like actual killing sprees like that. You know, like
Zombies maybe, but even then I don't think it was that much.
which one though? Because I can't remember a scene where he did that in one of them.
Well,
I've
like say like Rob Zombie's first Halloween, like that's like probably the most you've seen Michael like go out killing random
oh,
people.
I see. Yeah, he did kill a lot of zombies. That's true. The Rob Zombie Halloween, he did kill a lot. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I think that this is definitely the most, and that's the thing. Like you know, it delivers on the title. You can't say it's mismarketed because it does deliver on the
Because
title.
Halloween literally kills.
Yeah, I mean it does. It delivers on it, and
If you were the guy sitting next to me, you misunderstood the title. Because the guy next to me says, "Well, I thought they were going to kill Halloween and Halloween Kills."
No, I mean that's why they've called the next movie Halloween Ends.
Don't tell him that. He hasn't figured it out yet.
Because I mean I'm just guessing that he's gonna be in some way killed in the next one. But I mean
that guy.
I think he's going to be killed.
He's still watching it on Peacock, trying to work it all out in his head. He's
been watching it like 7 times trying to figure it out. Like
he's still sitting there like what, and, you know, just trying to figure it out.
Because that contract still exists that you can't kill Michael.
I don't think so. I would hope not.
I think I don't think anything's going to happen. Like he may get injured on screen, but it'll just be like in 20 years later, you know, oh, it was someone else that got their head cut off.
I don't know.
Oh, they could do it like what they did in that one movie you're telling me, Dom.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. The resurrection.
Yeah, they might do
thing,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might do that. Yeah.
So Jose, Josh, just so you know, Jose has not seen any of the non-canonical Halloweens. He's only seen the canonical ones at this point. Yeah. So,
okay. So
yeah. So he only has that reference. But I explained what happened to him and all of the rest of them, except for Rob Zombies. I actually have never gone over those with him, but those are, I mean, they're good, you know, to a degree. I just, you know, I don't know.
I think like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 was the first time you got a Laurie story, in my opinion.
You think so?
Like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Like that movie was all about Laurie and like her PTSD after dealing with Michael.
It was.
No one liked it.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, I mean, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but I do respect the originality of it for sure.
I love that. I think it's underrated.
I'm glad. Yeah, people seem to be like reclaiming that one lately and just taking it back, and like, yeah, I'm glad. Good for them. I'm glad it found a fan base. I think it's definitely original, and I've always kind of respected it on that level, for sure.
And on topic, off topic. Have you heard like Halloween 3, like everything happening with that right now?
No, but I heard that. Go ahead.
Walmarts are getting Halloween 3 plushies and claw machines.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there's NECA figures coming out, merchandise, clothing. Like it's now getting a resurgence. Like Halloween Horror Nights, I think, is teasing that they're about to do a Halloween 3 night.
Oh, wow.
And you know how hated that movie was for years, and now it's becoming popular.
Yeah.
And then Blumhouse said he'd be interested in doing a sequel.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I mean, you know me, I love Halloween 3. I mean, so like, yeah. Halloween 3 is the one of the non-canonicals that I'm like, yeah, you know, because it's different, you know, than the rest of them. That's what I always enjoyed about it. But yeah, anyway, but you know, back to this one. This is you know, this movie is honestly just one of those things where I think it was, I think people, like, when they see the next one, hopefully they come back around, and hopefully like it all kind of connects together and makes more sense. You know, and even like with this one, Josh, you were talking about the doctor thing. I think that this one expounded on that in a really cool way, and actually made it work a little better. You know, it ties back into that as well. I don't know if everybody agrees with that, but I think for me, it expounded on the doctor thing, made it make more sense, and it works a lot better now for me. It's definitely a you know, especially because you listen to the conversation that the doctor was having about you know, the idea of Laurie Strode being out there, you know, is what keeps Michael alive in a way, and then, you know, the idea of, you know, vice versa, essentially. I mean,
Yeah,
because
Michael still being out there is what like
keeps her
right?
alive in a way, and I think there is still some truth to that because they kind of I think the doctor was on to something, I should say, and then they kind of took that and built on it here because Lori kind of just came up with the conclusion that he just needs to kill in general. It's not so much me, like she's he put it in her the doctor put it in Michael's head. That's what this movie explained to me, is that the doctor put that in Michael's head, that it had to be Lori. The doctor was on the right track as far as like what keeps Michael going. He just didn't realize, I guess, that it was just anybody and everybody, and this movie kind of took that idea and built on it, and that is something that I just really dug about it. It really did, and it connects back into it so well that when I go back to watch 18, I imagine I'm gonna like it even more now. I'm gonna like that one even more. I don't know which one I like better between the two right now as it stands, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to go back and rewatch it now.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and rewatch those two, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it is really hard to choose. Honestly, they're both really good.
Yeah, they're both good in their own right, in their own way. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I kind of have I'm not gonna lie. I'm leaning a little bit this one right now though, because again, like it surprised me. It did things that I didn't expect. It did things that I was, always kind of wanted, but didn't know I wanted. For me, I think Josh was kind of like that too. It just, that's the thing. Like I agree with Josh on this point, and like he told me this off camera, is that this gave him the Michael that he always wanted. I agree with him in the sense that like it gave me the Michael that I always wanted, but I didn't know I wanted this Michael. But now that I have him, I'm like really happy. Like it made me happier than ever. So I mean, yeah, Josh, that's how you felt, right? That this is like the Michael that you were.
Yeah, he's just a killing machine. He's a shark on land. Like, there's no reason. Because like now this is just my theory, and we'll probably get it answered in the next one. I don't think he even knows who Lori is. I think she's just someone.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think it's been too long since he's seen who Lori is. Like I think the last time he remembers her was, when she was younger. So she's a little older now too. So he doesn't really remember what she looks like. So.
Because in 18, he looks at her and it keeps going, and then she shoots him, and that's when he turns back at her.
Exactly. So he didn't recognize her.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Because that's what I was trying to say, is like that's what they explained here, is like the doctor put the idea in Michael's mind. That was the thing. That Lori was the one, and yeah, again, I think he was on the right track. He just got it wrong a little bit. He twisted it, but to where it had to be Lori, and that's just not the case. And I agree with Josh 100%. It's great. Yeah, Michael's as unhinged as ever, in this, and then that's the Michael that we do want. Exactly, 100%. And I think people were caught off guard by that going into this one, but on the same hand, it's like, come on, what this makes the most sense to me, to
also,
do it this way.
I guess another thing we could talk about here too is why Michael hesitated to kill Allison towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seemed hesitant to me the first time I watched it. I mean, the last couple, I mean, I don't know if it was a hesitancy or just something that it was a hesitancy because she was putting up a fight. I don't know, because like I don't really have a lot of speculation on that anymore, to be honest with you. I'm being 100% real. Like I wish I still had theories on that. I don't necessarily have them. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. Josh, how'd you interpret that? Was he hesitant to kill Allison, or was that just because of the fight she was putting up? You don't think it means anything?
I just don't think he cares. Like, because like if you watch the other movies, like he'll look at people and not care. Like even in 2018, like he looks down at that baby and like everyone's like, "Oh, he's gonna kill the baby," and just walked away. I just think it's just whatever to him. Like he doesn't really care. He'll kill her if she gets in the way, but he's just gonna keep doing what he's doing. And plus, Karen ended up distracting him with like reminding him and taking the mask.
True. Yeah, yep. That is true. Yeah.
So I think he was just like, whatever, I'll get to her later, or just it just doesn't matter to him. That's what I really like, is the random of him.
Yeah.
Like there'll be a guy walking past him on the street, but he's beelining at someone like 2 houses over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what makes him scary to me, because you don't know why he's doing it. There's no reason. There's nothing.
Yeah.
He's just a fucked individual.
Yeah. For sure. I agree. So David Gordon Green, there's a couple interesting developments that we can kind of get into this because I think the next thing that folks are probably going to want to hear about, is where does, first of all, we'll talk about the ending, and then where does it kind of go from here? So actually, let me talk about this first because there was one thing I wanted to throw out there. I wanted to see if you guys caught this as well. There was a part that I loved in this movie, and that was when Frank and Laurie were talking in the hospital, and for the first time, because Laurie doesn't know Michael's back yet at this point in time, the first time she's talking to Frank, I saw the old Laurie Strode come back in her, and I was really happy about that. Did you guys notice that?
You did we did talk about that. I'm pretty sure a couple times off camera and stuff, and
yeah.
It did remind me of like old Halloween Laurie Strode. It was nice to see that.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Josh. No.
Yeah, no, I think Jamie Lee Curtis does a great job as a character in this one. Like, she's better playing the character than she did in Resurrection.
Yeah.
Or
for sure.
Probably the closest to this version of Laurie because she has a plan set up to fight Michael, so that's why I'm going to compare it to.
Okay.
20 years later, she's just kind of in hiding. She's just paranoid.
Yeah. No,
this felt the most like 78 Laurie that I remember, but I think it's kind of popped in my head because I don't think you guys watch Joe Bob.
I know who he is, but I don't watch him religiously. No.
They had they did the Halloween hoedown, I think what it was this year, and they had was it David Gordon Green? Yeah, they had him on there, and he was answering fan questions, and there was stuff that he answered that wasn't in this movie.
Oh, okay.
Because someone asked if him missing fingers would, is that going to be a plot point in the movie? And he goes, yes, actually at one point it's going to get infected.
Oh.
And that wasn't in this movie at all.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, it's going to get infected. Maybe he passes out. That's how they get the mask. That never happened. On there, he confirmed that Michael's human.
Okay.
Which came out with news articles a little bit later that Michael's just a human. He just does extraordinary things.
Okay. Yeah. I would imagine he's like McAvoy and Split a little bit, right? In that sense.
What I'm thinking is that because Joe Bob's like, he says, he does impossible things. He goes, does he do impossible things or is he doing incredible things? There's a difference.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like maybe he's just super strong, maybe, whatever, which also adds to the mystery.
Man's adrenaline rush is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Push through almost anything.
But yeah, I'm really curious about the hand infection because he made that sound like that was gonna be like a big deal in this movie, and I don't think it was him joking. Because how he answered, it's like, oh, his hand's gonna get infected.
Oh, okay. I would like to watch that at some point. If is that available somewhere?
Yeah, it's on Shudder.
On Shudder. Okay, I'll check it out then.
Okay.
I'll check it out.
You may have to fast forward for the movie they're showing, but you'll be able to tell the segments with some.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so I highly recommend that.
Great. I would definitely.
I'll definitely check that out. Yeah.
Sounds great. I would love to watch that. I mean, I'm fascinated every time I listen to an interview with David Gordon Green. He's one of those guys that's he's very open about his ideas for this always, and I was gonna get into that too. We'll talk about the ending here because, Judy Greer's character dies, and that's setting up a whole lot for the next one. I think people were pissed about it. But I wasn't. I just loved that it was, it had a sense of direction. It's like, okay, now we're going places because what you're setting up here is you're setting up a pissed off Laurie Strode and you're setting up a pissed off Allison, and, I think that's why Halloween Ends is going to essentially culminate to the movie I think people wanted this time around, which is probably going to be a showdown between them and Michael. Now you have Laurie and Allison with real motivation to go get Michael, and it's something new. And I think it's going to come down to one of them in the next one. I don't think it's going to be both. I think one of them has to die in this next one. For sure is what I think is going to happen. And that'll motivate the other one even more to go get Michael. That's how I feel like it's going to be. But David Gordon Green, I was going to say for an interview too, recently he actually did an interview with Collider. He said, so a couple things that are really interesting here is that in his mind, Halloween Ends is the definitive ending. He's saying, I'm not going to promise that another filmmaker is not going to pick it up. 10, 20 years from now, but he says in his head, this is the end of the franchise, of the Michael Myers story, is essentially how David Gordon Green's looking at it for Halloween Ends. And also the fact that Halloween Ends is going to pick up 4 years after. We're going to do a time jump in the next one. So that was a really surprising thing to hear. The other thing that interested me is the fact that he says the 4K is going to come with an extended cut, but it's only going to be the ending that's extended. And he says that is canon, what happens. So in the extended.
Do you know what the ending is?
What's that?
Do you know what the ending is?
No, do you?
Yep.
Oh, really?
So.
All right, you're hearing it here. Maybe not first, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to paraphrase it. There's scenes in the trailer that match to this too, so that's why I buy it.
Okay.
So Karen's going to be on the phone with Laurie, saying, we got him, it's over. That's when Michael kills her, and then she recognizes the breathing, kind of like in 78 with her friend.
Ooh.
Oh.
And then she's going to say, I'm coming for you, Michael. And then she leaves the hotel, and she's holding the knife, which is the scene in the trailer, where you see, like, running for the hotel, and she's holding the bloody knife.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's what supposedly the alternate ending's going to be.
Okay. All right.
Oh, shit. Okay.
All right. Cool. Fair enough. That kind of sounds like it plays a little bit like a post-credit scene, in like one of the Marvel movies, a little bit, where it's like, it's just giving us a little nugget that sets it up a little bit. I like that. That's a cool idea. Yeah, great. All right. I don't know how you have that information. Is it out there?
People are talking about it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, great.
I think maybe they're gathering it from scenes in the trailers that weren't in the movie.
I see.
Like different audio.
I see.
Okay.
That'll be cool if that's the case then.
Yeah. So I don't know how right that is, but it's what I've heard and it sounds believable.
We'll see. So it does sound believable because it really does just sound like a post credit, that would set up the next thing.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. I'm okay with that. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. No, for me, so 4 years is a long time to move forward, but yeah. I think both of you guys were down with the ending that we got though, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a cliffhanger, but I mean, it's not that much of a cliffhanger either. Like
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the ending, and it just made me more excited for the next one.
Yeah. For some reason, it's like people when they review this, they forget that there's more coming.
Like we have a whole nother movie coming. Like,
yeah, that they're I don't know. Interesting.
And if this is gonna be if David Gordon Green says it's gonna be the definitive end of the franchise, I feel like what might happen is Laurie's gonna go to try and kill Michael, and she's gonna have him like at like towards the end of his life, and then he's gonna end up killing Laurie, and then Allison's the one that's gonna put the end to Michael, kill him.
You think it would be Allison?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like Laurie's gonna get close, but Michael's gonna like somehow flip it and like get her, and then Allison's gonna be the one to like, okay, he's killed my mom and he's killed my grandmother. I've got to like end this dude like now.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, a 4-year time jump. I mean, what do you think they're doing for 4 years?
Planning how to exactly kill him, like maybe even more planning.
Really interesting. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, Josh. You have any speculation on that?
Oh yeah, the 4 years. I think we're probably going to get kind of more closer to what Hobo Myers was and Halloween 2.
Yeah.
So we're close to that because the mask is going to be rotting by now.
Yeah.
Because it's been burnt, all that. I think they're going to destroy the Myers house, like right away, like before this happens. I think the Myers house is going to exist, and they're going to do from Resurrection where he was living underneath it and like in the sewer system.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think he's going to be there. And people are gonna start disappearing. This is my concept. Okay. And I think how they'll end it is it'll actually be Hawkins that kills him, because he's gonna be holding Laurie by the neck like his partner. And
and then he's gonna
she's gonna shoot through Laurie and go hit Michael.
I love that theory.
You know what? If we get that, that would be sick.
That actually makes the most sense. Who are you talking to, Josh? What do you know?
Honestly, like what the fuck?
It popped in my head when I was watching. It's like, I wonder if that's how they. That'd be interesting.
That'd be very cool. I'm in love with that idea. Actually, I mean, That's a way to go. You know, it really is, and it actually makes a lot of sense if that is how they want to play it. For sure, that's a cool theory. That's a cool theory.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. I love it. That'd be great. No, guy. I mean, listen. I mean, this movie, it's really phenomenal. I mean, other things that we didn't touch on before we, before we wrap this up that you guys want to throw out there. Any scenes that we didn't get around to talking about? Anything that you think is important to this?
I mean, the obvious, the score. The score is phenomenal.
True, we do need to talk about John Carpenter's incredible score.
I mean, he's always delivers, man. His score in this movie was incredible. Honestly, I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, it added to the atmosphere of it. You know, it really did, and it kept it consistent for me.
You know, the tension, all the moments in the movie when the scores were in, it just made him that much better. It was incredible.
I agree, 100%.
The opening credits score or theme. With adding the choir to it.
That was sick.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Yeah,
and then if you look, one of the pumpkins is doing the blood tears from Halloween 2. I don't know if you noticed that, Dom.
Oh no, I didn't. That's cool. That's cool. I did like that they kept the opening credits in there though. I wanted that to, stay consistent throughout this whole thing, and it looks like they are keeping them. That was always set the mood, at least in the Halloween and Halloween 2, for the original series, and then like when they got rid of it, then it always kind of disappointed me, because I was always like, that was always a mood setter, it set the atmosphere, set the mood.
Always put you in the mood to watch that movie.
It did, man. It really does, and it keeps it like the jack-o'-lantern opening. It's always great. I did miss the blood tears though. I'll have to go back and look for that. I've seen the movie 3 times now.
And you've missed it every time.
I missed it every time. Yeah, so that's pretty sad. But it's exciting. The fact that this movie done as well as it does in the box office excites me. On one end it excites me, on the other end I'm like, please stop making them after Halloween ends,
Yeah, please.
At least like
Halloween 3 too.
You think what?
We're getting the sequel to Halloween 3. I think that'll be the next plan after this.
I hope so, because that's where I want
cash in on it.
That's where I want the franchise to go, is to start, cashing in on different stories outside of Michael. That's, that was Carpenter's original idea anyway, and I think that's where they need to go, is just, close out Michael finally once and for all, and then you can still cash in on the franchise if you make movies that are outside of Michael. I think you can make it work. You just, you have to work it out. Make them good. Make good content, and I think the money will come in. I think there's been enough of a reclaim of Halloween 3 at this point, hopefully, that people are like, okay, we were dicks back then about the fact that Michael wasn't in the movie, and then we ended up with a bunch of shitty installments because of it. Because we complained and all that kind of stuff. But for me, Look, I mean, this is a franchise that it stays in my heart for whatever reason, and now I'm more into it now than I think I've ever been. Probably since I was a child.
I'm definitely more into it now because I've never seen any of these movies.
Of them till recently, right? So yeah. you got motivation to stay in it. Exactly. And even like the bad ones, there's always been a place in my heart for them. The ones I don't like, in particular, there's always been a place in my heart for the ones I really don't like. But the thing that I love about this is that, like, David Gordon Green, he came in with an idea. I think that's clear. I think he has a plan for where he wants to take Michael, and it makes a lot of sense to me. I know a lot of people are complaining, and for people that have seen it and really didn't like this movie and are like, oh, it just feels incomplete or whatever, there's another one coming, guys. I think he's got you. I think the stuff that maybe you wanted out of this, you will get in the next one, just to some degree or another. I hope it just stays original. I want him to keep enough originality in there and give me things I haven't seen before, to keep it in the realm. But I think the next one is going to be a mixture of the tones of the first one, or the 2018 and Kills. I think that's what we're going to see in the next one, is those worlds kind of colliding and becoming one big thing. And
I hope we just keep getting more blood and gore, because honestly, it's incredible.
Yeah, no, me too, man. The kills are great. There was one other one that I think we missed here too, that where Michael took where he was opening the guy's mouth, the old guy, when he put him through the window and he opened his mouth and shreked to the point. That was a good one too. I really love that one as well. That whole old couple sequence was great with just, they were funny, first of all, to be around, where they were talking about Laurie Strode. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that was a question in my mind when I saw the 2018 was, what are our neighbors like? And we gotta look at that, you know. So yeah, I mean, for us, I mean, David Gordon Green, keep making them, you know, or don't keep making them, but you know, keep killing it, I guess, is kind of where we're at. Like, I think we're all in good spirits on the Hollow Green experience, as people are calling it. And you know, that's I think it's going well so far. I mean, I'll let you guys give some last comments here before we wrap up. Jose.
No, yeah, I mean, overall, great film, great franchise. If this next one's gonna be the end, end it with a bang. Make
Yeah.
you know, just give us the best of the best, and I'm just looking forward to the next one. And I'll always, you know, hold these movies. I'll be watching these movies every Halloween. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Josh, thanks for making it in for this today, and
Yeah, thanks.
I'll let you close it out as far as like whatever you want to say about it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I
No
always
problem.
love talking about Halloween.
Okay.
I'd say this movie had some of my favorite shots of Michael. I think you get some glorious shots of him, like just standing there stoically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
sure.
My main request for Halloween Ends is, please, for the love of God, let Laurie's ex-husband show up and be played by Tom Atkins.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be
That's
cool.
all I want. Just let him be.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, let him be the ex-husband.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be
That's
fun.
all I care about. Just do that, and I'll be happy.
I love that. I love that idea. Yeah, that would be great. Do you want it to be the actual character from 3?
No, I just want
Just a fun.
Ben Tramer.
Okay.
Let
All
me
right.
Ben Tramer.
Okay. Cool. All right, I'm down with it. That would be really awesome, actually. I would be completely down. But hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today with the spoiler review. Before we go, I'm gonna let everybody give this film a grade. Josh, we're grading on a new scale now. It's must go, might go, no go, or forget about it. Josh, what do you give this?
Well, I hate movie theaters, and I saw it in theaters, so I'll just let that be the answer.
Okay.
Oh,
Fair enough. Jose.
Oh, definitely a must go. Just, I mean, you say you have to go watch this film, and if you haven't seen the other ones yet, watch the other canonical ones, and then go and watch this one, because it's a great watch, and I think you guys will enjoy it as much as people have hated on it. It's still it's a great film. So
Yeah, I'm gonna third that, I guess. It must go for me. I mean, it really worked out in a great way, in my opinion. I think you guys should check it out in a theater. It does work on that level. It's made for the theater, I think, essentially, and that's the best atmosphere you can see it in. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining this first. Actually, this will be the first one to air. We've done other ones, but
Yeah.
of BRODOWN, this will be the first one that airs. So thank you guys for joining this new iteration of our, you know, sort of spoiler review series and reaction series. We'll be doing reactions to things on this show as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you had a good time with this, and let us know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, do all that, share it with your friends. It's been fun. So we're gonna get going, and I've been Don Martino. I want to thank
been
Jose
Jose.
and Josh, and we'll talk to you guys later.